You're listening to the audio production of The Atonement, an introduction by Jeremy Treat, published by Audiobooks. This book was originally published by Crossway and is read by Chris Abell. To my mother, Joyce Treat. Series Preface. The ancient Greek thinker Heraclitus reputedly said that the thinker has to listen to the essence of things. A series of theological studies dealing with the traditional topics that make up systematic theology needs to do just that. Accordingly, in each of these studies, a theologian addresses the essence of a doctrine. This series thus aims to present short studies in theology that are attuned to both the Christian tradition and contemporary theology in order to equip the Church to faithfully understand, love, teach, and apply what God has revealed in Scripture about a variety of topics. What may be lost in comprehensiveness can be gained through what John Calvin in the dedicatory epistle of his commentary on Romans called lucid brevity. Of course, a thorough study of any doctrine will be longer rather than shorter, as there were 2 millennia of confession, discussion, and debate with which to interact. As a result, a short study needs to be more selective but deftly so. Thankfully, the contributors to this series have the ability to be brief yet accurate. The key aim is that the simpler is not to morph into the simplistic. The test is whether the topic of a short study, when further studied in depth, requires some unlearning to take place. The simple can be amplified. The simplistic needs to be corrected. As editors, we believe that the volumes in this series pass that test. While the specific focus varies, each volume, 1, introduces the doctrine, 2, sets it in context, 3, develops it from Scripture, 4, draws the various threads together, and 5, brings it to bear on the Christian life. It is our prayer, then, that this series will assist the Church to delight in her triune God by thinking His thoughts, which He has graciously revealed in His written word, which testifies to His living word, Jesus Christ, after Him in the powerful working of His Spirit. Graham A. Cole and Orrin R. Martin. Introduction. The foolishness of the gospel. For the word of the cross is folly to those who are perishing, but to us who are being saved it is the power of God. 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 18. The Lord's plan for dealing with sin is shocking in its unexpectedness. It will not involve force or some military champion imposing righteousness on the people. Rather, the Lord's solution to sin is for His servant to take human sin on Himself and to offer Himself as a sacrifice of atonement for the sins of others. Paulson Polycottle. The good news of Christ crucified was being proclaimed in the heart of Los Angeles, but I was hearing it from a different perspective than ever before. I had the week off from preaching, so I sat with our congregation listening to one of my fellow pastors preach 1 Corinthians chapter 2 on the cross of Christ. I decided to know nothing among you except Jesus Christ and Him crucified. 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 2. I had heard the words before, but as I listened on this day, my eyes were fixed not on the preacher nor on the young creatives surrounding me, but on the scar-laden head of the man sitting directly in front of me. Like railroad tracks traversing the desolate land of his scalp, each scar told a story of pain and loss. And since this man was a part of our church, I knew the stories all too well. The first scar was from surgery at age 6, shortly after his childhood innocence was shattered by the words brain cancer. The next scar came at age 34 when the cancer returned, and another scar was added just a few months later when an additional surgery was necessary. The most recent scar came from removing 2 glioblastoma tumors from the brain. After a week of chemotherapy, he had saved up all his energy to come to church. And while I trust that he was comforted by the sermon on the cross, he himself was a living illustration to our church of its meaning. God's power is made perfect in weakness. 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 9. From one perspective, people merely saw the scars, the frailty, the weakness. But from another perspective, this man's greatest problem in life had already been solved. His future hope was completely secure, and he was presently being transformed from one degree of glory to the next in a way that would make the angels blush. The word of the cross is folly to those who are perishing, but to us who are being saved it is the power of God. 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 18. As I looked around the congregation, I realized that
Sample complete. Ready to continue?